Oh yeah, that's funny. I forgot my chapstick.
You want to go grab it? Or?
No, it's okay.
All right, well, welcome to the podcast. Feel free to grab yourself something to drink on. Drinking on some Tito's myself. Because we're going to talk real life, where we get vulnerable and, talk about where we suck at in life. Because the whole point is to try to fix it, right?
That's right. I do happen to have some whiskey in here, but that's only because I'm sick and it's for my throat. So that's a toddy.
What do they medicine. Call that?
The toddy. Home remedies.
Home remedies.
I can't take medication because I have weird.
Explain nothing.
No, I'm telling the world. Like, I can't take medication because I have weird reactions to it. So.
Yeah. So, thank you for coming on. I know you're a busy person.
Yeah, so busy.
Saving the world and whatnot. Yeah. So I figured we would talk about some subjects that may be like, well, let's say like, someone and they're going through a really crappy situation, like, okay, I won't name names, but there's, say, like a person and they're going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. You went through a divorce.
Yeah, I did.
And, but they're putting, like, they're not, but one party is using the kids against the other party, and the kids are kind of stuck in this middle. And it's so sad to watch, what I mean? And it's like, man, life sucks at that point for those kids because those kids can't do anything about it,
Yeah. Well, and they're little, so they don't understand what's happening. So they've got two people.
And a teenager,
Well, still, but you have two people in your life that you're supposed to trust, and they're both telling you different things. So you don't know what to believe at this point. You're just believing the person that I guess you spend the most time with.
Tough situation. So, but it made me want to talk about things like that because even, as we grow up.
So loud.
No, go for it. It's okay. If you're listening and not watching the video, then, it's just ice. It's just some ice, yeah. But it made me want to talk about it because even as adults, we go through some things that, suck sometimes. Like, we're business owners, so, we have employees sometimes, and they'll do you wrong. And, we've had business partnerships that didn't end too well, where we feel like, oh, you're the bad guy, and you're who's really the bad guy, Mm-hmm. And then even with ministry stuff, you know what I mean? Just life is ugly, you know what I mean? It gets ugly. So it's like, how do you? Because sometimes we know a couple where they were in a business relationship and it ended horribly, and they were family, Yeah. And it's like, well, how do you, you know what I mean? Like, when you're in those situations, I know we were just in a situation here recently where we felt like we were done wrong. Yeah. Like, what do you do? How do you handle
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, let's, so when we were going through it, like, there was a certain person that was trying to pin me against a friend of mine, right? And kind of spreading gossip, right? And rumors.
Twisting stories.
And, you know what I mean? It's very lying and very manipulative.
Sorry.
It's okay. Get it out. To where it's kind of like you want to beat the dude up, right? It's like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you would do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to be the one that does that.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And I think there's this process that sometimes you have to just get real with yourself and say, okay, what happens if you really do beat him up? Like, what's the consequences? What happens?
Do I have enough bail money?
No. Like, what's good gonna, like, what will this solve? Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that's a good thing to look at in a lot of areas because I I know how you grew up, and my dad grew up loving to fight and teaching us how to fight, and just wanted to fight.
Boxer?
He was a boxer, just wanted to fight. My brother would fight everybody, but it's like even like with boyfriend situations or kids being bullied at school, you're like, I'm just gonna go beat the kid up. You're like, you really can't just go beat the kid up.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, because there's been a couple.
Oh, because you just really want to beat some kids up.
I want to just beat up.
Are you allowed to say that?
Not like parental abuse, but like self-defense.
Whatever.
For your children. I mean, whatever. They deserve it. Their parents obviously didn't spank them.
Well, it's not a secret. They've seen them suck. They know us at school. No, no, we're good at school.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So, but man, it does suck though, because even our kid, like getting bullied, you have to teach her, like, hey, this doesn't end at high school. You know what I mean? You still have to go to college.
Real life.
Crap
People
happens.
Yeah,
you still have to go to work after college.
Yeah.
Unless you marry yourself a
winner.
Oh, easy, man.
Hey, I don't work.
No,
I mean I do, but not like in the world.
Not you don't have a real job.
I do. I don't have to leave my house.
So, but you still have to teach your. You know what I mean? It doesn't end. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
Life always is gonna suck, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those instances where I feel like here recently where I'm always preaching, life doesn't suck, you suck. Life doesn't suck, you suck. But it's like, oh my gosh, dude, there's some times where
life sucks. But that's because people suck.
Yeah. That's because people suck, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was. Oh man, I was talking with somebody and he says. One of my pet peeves, Christianese, like, oh, the enemy's attacking you. And I was like, dude, this isn't the enemy. This is like people.
This is a human.
These are people doing this. Like, this is why it's like, it's so hard to do life with people sometimes because you have to be vulnerable and then you have to put yourself out there and be willing, if I got to be willing for Katie to hurt me to let her in my world. Right? Mm-hmm. You got to be willing. So you have to trust me with your heart. And the same thing with friendships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're teaching our daughters that, like, hey, the friends that you had a couple years ago may not be your friends today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps cycling.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of friends?
No.
No, growing up you didn't?
Oh, not at a time. Like, I mean, I had maybe different friends, but usually at one period of time I was friends with everybody, but like close friends, maybe like one or two at a time that I hung out with. But not like ever just a huge group of friends all the time.
You weren't in the popular class?
Of course I was. I wasn't. I was not. I was the chubby kid. My mom sewed all my clothes.
Oh, yeah. Man, I wish we had a picture of that. That was pretty
She
cool.
probably has some.
I didn't have a lot of friends. I'm trying to think.
But I also grew up going to private school, which back in the day was...
Oh, like a Catholic school.
No, like a lot of people didn't go to private school back in the day, I guess. It was like weird. You were labeled the weird kid.
Before I started going to private school, I always thought of private school like Zach Morris or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like suit, tie.
Oh, some of them were like that.
And then we go to private school and it was like, you want to buy some weed?
That was a very rare instance. That was the only, that was the first private school that I went to that was like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to wear uniforms at that
Just one. Because for the backstory, that's where we met in the 8th grade. Maybe?
8th grade, yeah. We were 13.
Yep. Private school, we dated, so to speak.
Did? I mean, we dated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't ever went on a date.
No, we weren't really allowed.
So
well, you were probably allowed.
We went on field trips.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
private school field trips where like the whole school went because there wasn't enough people to fill up the bus. Only that one. The private school our kids go to now, there's a lot of kids. So.
Yeah. You went to a bigger one though.
I went to CCS.
Well, yeah.
And then I also went to Concordia.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, I only went there.
That's like a real high school now.
I didn't have to wear uniforms there either. And so there were kids there too that were offering weed.
That's everywhere though.
I was one of them.
You don't like that's what I'm trying to like.
It is everywhere.
This is where it's like it doesn't. It doesn't matter where you are. Nice neighborhood. Robberies happen in nice neighborhoods. Nice schools. Kids do drugs, do all the stuff that happens. You know what I mean? Like no one's exempt from. Yeah, there's bullies. Anything.
There's like sexual harassment. There's anywhere there's going to be something. There's going to be. Yeah. It's going to be anywhere. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I don't remember what we're talking about. Actually, I do remember what we're talking about, but it was super controversial, so I don't know if I should say about it.
Come on, bring it on.
Okay, so there's a.
Oh boy.
There's like a thing going around Facebook. There's a. Is
this a real story though?
Yes, there's a lawsuit going on.
Okay.
Where there's these parents that are divorced and they have 7-year-old twins, and the mom is trying to turn one of the boys into a girl.
Okay, Joe Rogan was actually talking about a story like this. I don't know if it's the same story, but they're getting divorced. Finish it.
They're already divorced.
They're already divorced.
Yeah.
Finish it.
So they went to court because the father was fighting for rights to be able to say like, hey, we should at least wait. Yeah. Like, let's not give him the hormones and stuff now. Hormone blockers, yeah. At least wait. He's only 7. And the court, and this is in Texas, y'all. The court actually ruled in her favor.
Not only they're making him also. They're also making him call
him a girl. Yeah, you have
or something.
Luna. The mom wants the boy's name to be Luna, and he has to call her Luna. But that they actually just posted today. One of your window washing friends that I'm friends with somehow. They actually posted today the article that the judge they re-ruled on it, and the dad now has a say in the medical stuff. So I don't think that they're going to be able to go through with it. But the thing that I was saying, she said that when he was 3, she took them to McDonald's for a Happy Meal, and he picked a girl toy instead of a boy toy. So that's when she knew that he wanted to be a girl. Yeah. So she started calling him a girl and calling him Luna, gave him the name Luna, would enroll him in school with the name Luna. And I just was I was talking to JJ, but it was like one of the good things that I love about the private school is that I don't have to worry that my kids are going to have to sit through classes on if you're not a girl, or if you're a girl but you don't want to be a girl, it's okay. Yeah. Those feelings are not
So,
and that may be controversial for people, but I don't believe that.
Well, the way if you're an adult, do what you want to do.
Sure, absolutely.
To me, it's when you start bringing like to me, it's okay. My boy walked around for a while thinking he was Thor. You know what I mean, with this Thor hammer.
With butterfly wings that he found in his sister's room.
He wanted to skateboard off the roof at one point. You know what I mean?
Should we let him do it?
This is the thing. It's like, I don't think so. Okay, he's 6. You know what I mean? My boy wants to skateboard off
3.
the roof.
He's a butterfly. I let him be?
I'm a proud dad because he wants to skateboard, but I'm not going to be like, well, he wants to identify as a skater. Let's do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's let him live this out. And then if at 18, 19, 20, like, hey man, like you're not even fully being developed yet until like, I don't know, 25 years old or something. So
30,
you're
well, that's what I was saying to her. Like I think back even 5 years ago.
It's not even a moral thing. It's right. It's more, but it's.
He doesn't but he doesn't understand the lifelong consequences of the choices that he's making. So he's, my 6-year-old, he's about to be 7. Sometimes he says yes to stuff just because he wants to please his parents. They're little. They don't know. So anyways, that's one of the things I love about private school. The other thing I was going to say, though, is, I was reading this, and this just kind of proves this, too. I was reading this article about yesterday. There's a haunted house in Tennessee, and it's supposedly like the scariest one ever. Nobody's ever been able to finish it. You literally cannot be under 18 to go through it, and if your age is 18 through 20, you have to have a parent's permission to go into this haunted house.
18 to 20?
Yes, 18, 19, or 20 years old. You have to have written parental permission to go into this into this haunted house.
You don't have parents at that age, though, right? Like
they won't let you in. They won't let you in. Like you have to have yes. You have to have a doctor's note.
Fact check that one.
No, do it.
Okay.
I read the whole article. You have to have a doctor's note. You have to fill out a 40-page release. But like they know, like you're not capable of making decisions for yourself.
You know, like if you know, I don't mind an occasional Tito's vodka. If my son at 6 wants a Tito's vodka, no. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
No, it's not a matter of like, hey, right or wrong. It's a matter of like, hey, man, let's get you developed, and then I'll introduce you to foreign. You know what I mean?
No, you're not
me, but you know what I'm saying. Like, let's get you an appropriate age. That's why it's like 18 is the appropriate age, or 20. That's why society says, hey, this is the age to start making those decisions. Now, Are those the right ages? Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not 6.
Sure.
It's
not.
It's not. You know what I mean? It's really not, dude. To me, it's so crazy.
Well, we're confusing these kids because they don't even know how to.
Well, no, it's not even. It's just, to me, it's just a parent. Like, parent is just, to me, you have an insane parent that's like.
And she's a doctor.
Wow, that's even probably, she's so smart for her own good, you know?
Well, and then they're not even hers. She had to get in vitro with other eggs. So they're biologically his, but they're not biologically hers.
It gets even more crazy. Anyways, this...
Okay. Rabbit trail.
But
that's what I was saying, that for us, I feel like the Christian schools are good because I don't want to have to try to combat that. There's so much else in the world that we have to combat. And, you know, I just want to keep them as pure and as innocent for as long as I can. I do.
Yeah. There are some things you have to kind of combat, like, hey, is the earth really 6,000 years old?
Yeah, but there's even some teachers that will agree that that's not the case.
I would rather that argument than...
Those are questions of heaven. Your biology is not a question of heaven.
Well, yeah, even still, you know what I mean?
Your DNA
is not
an unknown factor.
It's not, well, even then, it's not even... mind that part, the kid part of it. It's a 6-year-old. That's the whole point of it. It's like
he's 7, but
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
18.
You know what I mean? You know, 18. You're you know, by this time you're moved out your parents' house, and that, you know, legally, I don't still necessarily believe it. You're at a, you know, 18. And I made.
When I was 18, I made a lot of not good choices. When I was 25, I made a lot of not good choices. That's where it all
comes down to. Is it's like, it's not a matter of, just so we put it out there, like, we have a lot of friends that are on all sides of the spectrum,
absolutely,
everywhere.
And we love everyone.
Yeah, so we just want to make sure. Yeah. But when it comes down to kids, it's kind of like, man, we got to, like, it's like this, what about the children? Somebody's got to think about the children, you know? It's like that, you know? Like,
I don't know what that's from.
This is from The Simpsons.
Oh,
I'll have to introduce you to... Oh, you weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons, but I wasn't either.
I think I did. I've watched it. I don't watch TV.
It's been on for like 20 something
I know,
years.
but I'm not a TV watcher.
20 years ago you weren't. I know today you know, but like, you never watched
Saved by the Bell.
Oh man. Yeah.
90210.
Yeah.
SpongeBob always.
Party of 5.
No, I wasn't allowed to watch that.
You're allowed to watch Beverly Hills 90210, but not Party of 5. That's crazy. All right.
I was allowed to smoke weed, but not do cocaine. So.
Oh, wasn't aware of that. You were allowed to.
Well, I mean, from when I was a teen, not a child.
So when did you start smoking weed?
13.
Like,
daily?
No, like out and like you're like
that my dad knew.
Yeah, no 13. Big deal. Like no big deal. It's
13, closer to 14, but I started with.
I knew you had 13 though. Oh, okay. Okay, so but all right, so you were smoking at 13. Huh.
Not like a super much, but by the time that I was 15, I was smoking regularly every day and drinking every day.
What were you drinking?
Beer or whatever I could get my hands on.
Skipping school?
Where was I? I didn't start skipping school until I went to public school.
When was that? 9th grade?
No, 10th grade.
Drilling you.
When I was in 10th grade. I don't know. I don't remember how old I was.
I used to walk to visit you.
I remember.
Yeah, good times.
And then you would wipe your sweat all over me.
Yep, good times. This is when I started my punk rock phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started wearing... Dude, I was wearing tight skinny jeans before skinny jeans were cool. Matter of fact, I was wearing skinny jeans. People were like, the youth pastor said something to me about it. Like, dude, what are you wearing or something like that? Because it looked like I was from the 50s is what he said.
Yeah.
It looks like you're dressed in like somebody from the 50s because I was wearing tight blue jeans, rolled up jeans, Converse with like I was skinny back in the days.
That was before the beer and tacos.
So, and some, tight black shirt, looking like a 50s kid. Or like a Ramon.
How everyone dresses today.
From the Ramones, Yeah, just like everyone dresses today. But it wasn't cool back then.
Yeah.
So now it's cool. We were watching 21 Jump Street. This is off the subject the other day, and it was like that dude was going back to school, and he was like, "Oh man, you got to wear like one strap," The kid was wearing 2 straps, and then he's like, "Hey man, this is how you got to be cool," and then he gets there, and it's like.
He's the epitome of not cool.
It was like everybody that was
a dork.
I'm going to be the cool kid now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm the one like, yeah, that's right, punk. You're the jocks aren't cool anymore.
You're a dork.
You're the dork now.
These are squeezing my head.
You can adjust them. They're adjustable.
I have a lot of pressure.
So whenever let's get back on the tracks here. So especially because we have kids, so we teach our kids all this stuff, and
we try to.
But like practicing what you preach, because you like, turn the other cheek type stuff. But we don't always we sometimes are like, hey, dude, like tell the teacher. If the teacher doesn't do anything, stand up for yourself. Right?
Well,
it's kind of like what we say.
Stand up for yourself verbally, and stand up for other people. For sure, don't let people get bullied. But if you've told and told and told and told and told and nothing is being done, then, and if anybody ever puts their hands on you, you just make sure they put their hands on you first.
That's right. But seriously, because we went through all these things, and I feel like our kids saw us go through these things, and we had a very, important decision to make of... I always say this. You can when you're being accused of things or you're being wrongfully done, sometimes you have in order to defend yourself, you have to get out of character and bash the other person, right? And then, or it's stay in character and remain the bad guy. And those are hard decisions because you want to defend yourself so bad and say, no, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. You're the scumbag. You're the, you know what I mean? But you're okay, that if I did that, it would, what's the benefit of that? What's going to happen? Now, there are some times where I feel the whole world needs to know. Like, expose this person for what they are. But, you know, like a bully at school or something like that, it's kind of like, you know, hey, I know it sucks.
Yeah.
But reality, if you do slap this person, these are the consequences. You know, best just not sit by him. You know what I mean? Best just not even be around him. Best just when you see him come this way, you go that way. You know what I mean? And those are like, it makes you feel weak. You know what I mean? Like, oh, because you want to, like, I don't know, maybe it's different for girls. I know for guys, sometimes it's like, oh no, dude, screw you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get even, you know?
No, well, I don't know about all girls, but
yeah, you're a little bit different. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard though. It's hard it's hard. And I think even like when I think, you know, I hate to, you know, this isn't a Bible study or anything, but like, that's going back, like, turn the other cheek. That's the hardest thing someone can do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, hey man, cool, boom. I know not to associate myself with you anymore.
One thing I try to tell them, the girls especially, because the little boy is, his first grade drama is
no snacks.
No, there's first grade drama, but it's more like he didn't want to play with me today, type stuff, or he was looking at my paper. Or I was telling him to be quiet and I got in trouble. But because we have teenage daughters, so the thing that I try to tell them the most is what the other person's saying is true. And if it's not true, then you know the truth and God knows the truth, and you just got to keep moving forward, because you can try to defend yourself, but you don't want to stoop to their level. Now, there's some times where you want to stoop to their level.
Well, no, you always want to stoop. Yes. That's what I'm saying, is like, we're human beings.
And as a mother, it's really hard for me to not want to stoop to their level.
We're not like, that's the whole thing. It's like, we're not above, you know what I mean? Like, we're not above that emotion of, well, hold on now. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, you're like.
But come home to your safe place. Let's talk crap about him here. Let's say all the things that you want to say, and then let's go back and just remain in character. Yeah. Like, this is you have to have a safe place to come and be able to dump all your crap, and for us to be able to be like, yeah, she's a total hobo. She is a hobo. You're right. You are right in the way that you feel. Yeah. But just know that you know the truth. The people that love you know the truth, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. So like I was telling this individual that, you know, he's going through this divorce, and it's sad, you know. It's pretty nasty. It's sad. He's a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, he deserves, in my opinion, like, he deserves to be the one taking care of the kids, you know? And it's kind of like hard to watch this whole thing unfold. But it's kind of, you know, it's easy on my side to say, hey, man, just play the long game. You know what I mean? Like, you know, stay in character, you know, just do everything right. And when the time comes, you know, people will, you know, the right people will see that. You know, if it's the legal people, then whatever. They'll see, you know, hey, everything was done right. The one time you step out, though, that's the thing. It's right. Like this. I forget. It's like that. You know, it takes you a lifetime to build your reputation, and just a second to destroy it.
Well, yeah, but the hard part about that is that when there's kids involved and you're a parent, you feel super desperate because you want to do.
You're a protector.
Yeah, you want to get them out and
there's
keep
one
them
that's
safe.
not a protector, and there is one that is a protector.
And unfortunately,
you're like, what the heck?
He doesn't have a lot of control over the situation. And did it stop?
Yeah, you can keep it.
And that's super sad, because it doesn't matter what he says to the law or to the people in charge, is that, like, the other party is not doing anything wrong, even though, you know, in their eyes, like, at any moment something bad could happen and you have no control over it.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, if they were in your supervision, that nothing bad would happen, you'd be able to keep them safe.
Yeah. It's hard.
That is hard. And so you have to play the long waiting game, knowing that the one thing that you don't want to happen may be the thing that gets you to be able to have your kids.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
It's a terrible thing. And that's where I feel like, you know, my attitude, I'm trying to change my attitude towards all these things, because my attitude is always like, you know, you suck, not life. And I'm like, you know, yeah, he sucks, I suck, but this situation sucks. You know what I mean? It's like, this situation is like, I'm looking at it, it's like, you know, the kids can't say the same thing I say. They can't say, well, you know, life doesn't, you know, suck. It's me that sucks. You know what I mean? I need to change something about me, because they have no control over anything. And to me, it's just like, wow, life does suck for these kids right now. Life does suck for this individual right now. And I'm trying to be more sensitive on that, you know, like, you know, with depression and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't understand all that stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, it's like, suck it up, you know, because I come from a harder background, I guess.
I think there's so many different ways that depression affects people.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to be more sensitive to, because I have that attitude of, you know, well, suck it up. You know what I mean? Life doesn't suck. You suck. You know what I mean? So suck it up. You know? Well, why are you so depressed all the time? Unsensitive. Well, yeah. You know, and I'm trying my hardest. But I'm trying. You know what I mean? Like, I really, it's one of the things I suck at. You know what I mean? I identify it, and it's like, okay, now, you know, you have daughters. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to tell your daughter, suck it up. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't want to tell your wife that. Stop crying, suck it up. You know?
You may not have a wife.
Yeah. So
that may be one of those times where I have to get out of character.
He's not witness.
What was that shirt I was gonna make? Like, holy enough to pray for you, hood enough to swing on you. It's true.
What was I? We got sidetracked there.
You're trying to be more sensitive.
Yeah, being more sensitive to that, because, you know, like, I thought like I'd come into this podcast, you know, like a hardcore, like, oh, you gotta, you know, you blah blah blah. But now I'm meeting, you know, different people, and then we went through different things, to where, like, I remember driving down the road just not too long ago, like, thinking, like, dude, this isn't fair. And I remember telling somebody, like, you can never say that. You can never say life isn't fair. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's not.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I remember just thinking it to myself, like, dude, this isn't fair. Like, I don't deserve this. Yeah. This is what I told myself. Like, I don't deserve this. And I was like, who do you think you, like, no one deserves anything. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and that's where.
Well, that's not true.
Well, no. And, you know, it's not that no one does, like, you know, you can't, like, I don't deserve this house. You know what I mean? I don't deserve. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, I've done a lot of scumbagish stuff, and here, you know, we have a studio here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't deserve that. You know what I mean? But life does. It's not just about what you deserve. It's also what you know, what you work for, and what you put your actions towards. But I'm trying to be more. I'll get back to this. I'm trying to be more sensitive to the.
What time is it?
5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll cut it off here in a second.
No, it's fine. I just didn't, you know.
So, you know, I came in thinking, like, you know, screw you, you suck, change it, and then you start going through some stuff. You start meeting people that go through some stuff. I mean, even the, you know, city council, where you hear people that are like, you know, they're poor and they just got taken advantage of. You know what I mean? And you're like, life sucks for them. What can they do to change that right now? They didn't do anything in their power for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like, what do you, Chris Martinez, what's your answer? You know, and you're like, yeah. And then you go through some stuff in your life and you're like, well, what's your answer, powerful Chris Martinez? You know, and you're like, yeah, dude, life sucks right now.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. I don't understand what's going on, or it rains for, a hurricane comes through and it rains for a week or two or whatever it is, tropical storm. And you're like, what did I do? I had this perfect plan to, do this. And it's like, I didn't deserve that. You know what I mean? It's like, life doesn't care what you deserve. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to I think that's what I was trying to get to earlier. It's like, life doesn't care what you deserve. Like, it rains on the just and the unjust. You know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't, you do good and all this good always happens, Like, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, it's what we try to teach our kids. Like, high school was hard. Doesn't get easier. When you go to college, people are more mature, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she's our oldest she's had to grow up a lot. She had to grow up really fast. She's been through a lot in her life, and so she's probably matured.
More mature.
Yeah, her thought process is like she's a teenage girl.
There's two types of people. Like, if you grew up with an alcoholic parent, you're probably the person that would say, I'm never going to touch alcohol. If you grew up with an alcoholic parent, then you may have a chance to be an alcoholic. Like, I grew up with alcoholic parents. I'm drinking alcohol.
But you're not an alcoholic.
But but you understand, like, she's more on the end of, I don't want to touch, like, I want to do
I'm not going to end up pregnant at 18 years old.
Every mistake that
I'm going to go to college.
That I see my parents.
Have a career. When all of my kids' friends are going to Hawaii for spring break, I'm going to Hawaii with my kids for spring break. Not like, hey, when you're 40, Leela, we're going to go to Hawaii for spring break and you can come.
That's right.
Because we started super early, so we're behind all the other,
super, super duper behind.
Yeah, all the other parents.
Yeah.
So
most parents our age have a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got an 18-year-old.
Yeah, and even younger than that.
Yeah. So yep.
We have, she's about to be 18. She's going to be an adult.
Yeah. So
there's still rules here. Like, if you live here, we're super strict. We are super strict.
Yeah. Stricter on them than we are on ourselves.
That's that's because we know we want better for them than we do for ourselves. Like, and I'm not going to be naive to the crap that goes on in the world.
Yeah.
I know that they know more stuff than I do about social media and phone stuff and internet, because that will always be ahead of me. But I think I'm pretty good on knowing what's out there.
Oh yeah, they take TikTok now. Like,
we don't do TikTok. We don't do Snapchat. We don't do Facebook.
You do Snapchat, right?
No.
Oh, you got rid of Snapchat?
Like a year and a half ago.
Oh, I thought I saw y'all doing filters and all that.
That's on Instagram.
Oh, Instagram came up. See, dude, I'm way behind on my social media.
Yeah. You have an Instagram, you just don't use it. The filters are on Instagram, but also on Facebook Messenger. Oh. That's where I do them with
the boy?
With the bad baby, Ashton.
All right, so we got to wrap this up. We got kids coming home.
What did we even talk about?
We talked about
life not being fair and life sucking, not you sucking. But people do fair. Suck, and when you suck, you can't expect good things to happen to you.
Well, that's the whole you don't. I mean, none of us deserve anything. Like,
no,
if you're a person of faith, then you will understand this concept.
The road is super narrow, and you're going to be lonely. And
that's a good point. You know what I mean? Like, John Maxwell says, hard things are uphill, so doing things worthwhile are uphill. Mm-hmm. Josh Latimer, keep chopping wood, do hard things, all these things, all these cliche things. It's true. You know what I mean? Like,
the Bible says it. The road
it's a narrow road.
It's a narrow road. The road over here is wide, and they're having parties, and they look like they're having fun, but
this is a small little it's a small narrow road, and life sucks sometimes. So I wanted to get that out there because
life sucked.
I know I'm always like, what?
I said life's been sucking for me for the past few days because I'm sick and I still have to clean up.
Oh, she still has to be super mom.
Baby dog pee. and cook dinner and wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
She's a super mom.
Not really.
So
you should see her.
Yeah, so I just life sucks sometimes, and you know what? It's okay though, but it still doesn't give you the excuse to suck. You know what I mean? It doesn't give you the excuse to say, okay, well that's it, I've had it. Because that's where I came up with that whole like push harder. Every day I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? Give up? I'm like, I guess I'm gonna push a little bit harder than I did yesterday. And some days I don't push at all, so the next day it's not as hard. You know what I mean? So it's like push harder though. You know what I mean? Like you can't go back.
And it doesn't give you a right to be rude.
Or people. Being mean. Rude doesn't give you a right to be mean, doesn't give you a right to just because you had a bad day doesn't mean everybody has to have a bad day.
And that's not just for strangers or friends, that's for your family.
Because that's who we take it out on the most.
It is. You're staring at me?
I love you so much.
Were you implying that it's me that does that?
No. One of the things we learned when we went to premarital counseling was the first 15 minutes when you get home set the tone for the rest of the evening. You remember that?
I do now that you said that.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes. We should start
like implementing that again.
Well, that's why I come home and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, but that lasts like 2 minutes.
Where's the food? No.
Yeah.
I'm just
and then you sit and you watch your videos, which I know you're learning, but nobody on the other side of your phone knows what you're doing.
That's the problem with technology today.
It's like you can literally learn a whole
before you would have to have a magazine, right? And then people would be like, oh, he's reading that magazine. But now today people are like, oh, he's on his phone. And you're like, but I'm have a really good reason to be on my phone.
Oh, but you also need to learn to limit.
Oh, absolutely.
Limit. And I'm not saying just you. Everybody.
Something I suck at. See? I mean,
everybody. Absolutely. I've been in a hole for the past 3 days, and I don't want to do anything. So I've just been. Well, I don't feel good.
Yep. So let's end on that note of get off the phone, limit it.
Look at your family.
You suck. Not.
That says card full.
Oh. Well, that means we're done then.
The end.
All right. Bye.
Bye.